So much. Okay. Sige, no? So to be honest with you, I don't know if this is excitement or gikulbaan lang gid ko kay murag kahion ko nga namugnaw ko no in anticipation of this talk ba no, because of course I'll be my audience is composed of professionals, businessmen, and all of you guys here, no, so it really gives me nerves, no. So I am happy actually because Ma'am Janet no ning gawas gid gihapon yung pagka-teacher, something I can really very much relate, no, kay I'm also a teacher at Cebu Normal University. Yeah, so anyway, as announced no by or as said as has been said by Sir Albert earlier, no, the first key actually that we'll have today is talking about essentials of public speaking. So once again, okay. I'd like to know if my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, Sir Kim.
Right. Okay. And nakalimot na ko check no if I am audible, I am heard well. Well, of course, nanubag naman mo no, so obviously madungog dud kaninyo. Okay, so yeah, once again, I'm Dr. Keith Francis Rodriguez. I am the Public Information Officer of Cebu Normal University. So to give you a little overview of what I'm going to talk about for this morning, no, or for the 1 hour I'm given today, I'll be talking about public speaking, the essentials, no, what is public speaking, kinds of speakers and types of speeches. And also, since I noticed that this webinar is being held geared towards capacitating all of you. I know maayo na gid mo nga public speakers, but since this is geared towards capacitating all of you to become MCs, I decided that the second part of my my talk will focus more on being an MC, because I've also been an MC. I don't know, for the most part of my life, tingali, no, 15 years. I'm 30 years old right now, so half of my life I've been MCing. No, I started when I was in high school. Up until now, I'm still MCing. I've MC'd a lot of events, corporate, mga serious events, no, or mga informal and formal events and whatnot. So I'll devote half of my time or half of my talk for that, being an MC. What are the responsibilities of an MC? Characteristics of a good MC? What are the essentials that we need to remember, no, for MCing? And all these will be based on my experience, additional tips, and of course MCing in F2F and virtual platforms. F2F, by the way, is face-to-face, no, actual kanang face-to-face good, and of course virtual like this one, no, parehas gibuhat ni Dr. Mananay earlier, no, she was MCing in this virtual platform. So if we are all set, no, I'd like to ask, okay, who among you here actually experiences these things? Sweating, increased heart rate, dry mouth, mag-uga atong bakba, difficulty breathing, nausea, headache, muscle tension, need to urinate, makaihi or kahion kay stand feeling mo kahion kay ka, kung padung ka muhimo og sana speech. Be, naatay mga kuan diha, mga experiences nga inani similar. You can unmute yourself if you are.
Chat, Sir Kim. All of the above ko, no, Sir
All
Kim.
of the above. Kadyot ha, akong i-pull up akong chat. Mo sa ni difficulty, no, kung nagkuanta kay okay, lisod kaayo. Okay, dara. So muna I need to have to gadgets good. Okay. All of the above, Ma'am Rose. All right, si Ma'am Rose ay naka-experience ani so far?
Or ako rin siguro tarang titit diri.
Okay, so it's good to know, no, that only one is experiencing this one, because duha na ta, ma'am. Actually, no, I'm with you on this because I also experience this every now and then whenever I would give a speech or whenever I would MC, no. Ang napadi ay si Ma'am Sheila. Thank you so much, Ma'am Sheila.
Yeah,
okay.
Same here.
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, why am I asking this? Because you might have this one, or we might have this one. Glossophobia. Glossophobia is basically the fear of public speaking. Okay, and it varies, no, in intensity. Na mild lang kaayo, na grabe na gud kaayo, na magkinahanglan na gud therapy. But so far, I hope, no, murag wala man siguro nato ana ang ato ang ma-feel lang gyud is the normal nerves and tension whenever we are about to give a speech. So glossophobia actually affects 70% of people. I don't know asa kung nabilong ba ta aning 70%. This is the number 4 fear of Americans in 2015, no, according to ori.com. And 23% of Australians fear public speaking more than death. Can you imagine that? No, ang uban nila, mas mahadlok pa sa public speaking than death. According to Mark Twain, there are only two types of speakers kuno in the world: the nervous and liars. So kung nabilong to sa glossophobia, naata diri sa nervous. Sa mga wa nabilong, naata sa liars. Joke, di bitaw ako kahibawan na ha. At that's according to Mark Twain, dili ako ang nasulti. All right. So what really is public speaking, Mandiay? And why is it a cause of nerves to a lot of people? No, 70% at that. So basically, according to Merriam-Webster, no, the act or process of making speeches in public, that's public speaking. According to Wikipedia, no, it's a source, it's the process and act of speaking or giving a lecture to a group of people in a structured, deliberate manner intended to inform, influence, or entertain a listening audience. So here in these two definitions, we can see the same basic elements. No, there's an act of speaking in public, and that public may consist of two or more people. Okay, more than one man kuno. And the purpose of which is mubari pod, to inform, influence, or entertain that specific audience. Well, for me personally, no, what is public speaking? Simply, it is talking to more than one person at a time. Because if you have two or more people nga nakitabi ka, they are already public, right? Part of the public na. Yeah. So, what are the different kinds of speakers? No, natay daghang classes of speakers. No, first is speaker. Gitawag dyan nato sa og speaker. A speaker addresses an audience, and they can also give any type of speech, no, depending on the occasion. Most are keynote speakers, motivational speakers, and the main aim is to pass the message across or pass a message across. Speakers usually have some sort of public speaking training that qualifies them to address a variety of audiences. So usually, we can see these speakers in events like conferences, mga fora, mga colloquium, di ba? So, mao ni sila mga keynote speakers, mga plenary speakers. Ang makita nato nga mag-deliver ana nga mga speeches, they are the ones that we call speakers. Next, we also have facilitators, no? In a group, no, for example, na somebody nga nag-lead, nag-facilitate, no, naghatag og mga activities, no? That's a facilitator, and they are also considered as speakers. No, so facilitator though is a fancy name for an organizer, and they put events together and get everything running smoothly. They handle the details of events, no, especially the speakers and the addresses. Say mag-check dito na ba ang speaker, na ba ang mga guests, kompleto na ba, and so on. A facilitator at an academic event is responsible for professors, lectures, and presenters that will speak at the event. They are also what we call as mediators. No, they are like the mediators that make sure the group achieves their goals and objectives. A facilitator can put together an employee workshop, a seminar for job seekers, and even the art of public speaking courses. So ari mo gawas ang public speaking, no, sa mga facilitators. All right. The third one, or the third type, or the third kind of speaker is a moderator. No, and I'm sure we are very familiar with this one. If we have attended a debate, then definitely nakakita na taog moderator. That person, specifically in this picture, bitaw, the person in red or the woman in red, that person who enforces the rules and makes sure everybody gets a word in is a moderator. Moderators come between opposing parties and give them the floor to make their points without overshadowing the other party. So the moderators actually take the neutral stance because kinahanglan man yung i-make sure nga both parties are heard. The points of the both parties are heard. And yes, of course, no, in the process of, you know, moderating between these two parties, naapo na siyang ipangsulti. That's why moderators are also considered as public speakers. Students and politicians hold debates frequently, and they always have moderators. So a good moderator daw captures the audience's attention and refocuses it to the speaking party at appropriate times. And the moderator acts as a judge and ensures decorum and fairness. They take a neutral stance. Another type is the entertainer. No, are we familiar with the person in the picture? No, Jokoy, he is a stand-up comedian based in the US. Is a Filipino. No, I think half Filipino, half American. Yeah. Stand-up comedians come to mind immediately when you think of an entertainer. The truth is that entertainers are as versatile as they come. Their job is to entertain and amuse the audience. If you recall the definition earlier I flashed, diba? One of the reasons why there is public speaking is to inform, to educate, and also to entertain a listening audience. No, so mo ni sa sud yun diha ang entertainer. An entertainer holds attention with engaging speech and of course a dash of humor. No, so there are also public speakers, diba? Because they are standing in front of a huge crowd. Yeah, lisod po nilang job because they really are there to entertain, no, not just facilitate something, not just moderate something, but they really are there to entertain, to make their audience laugh. Okay, another one is the MC. Okay, an MC is also a public speaker. No, an MC has to be charismatic, funny, and engaging. You know, they guide the audience and keep them focused on the event and possibly the speakers. In a multi-program event, the audience can get distracted or bored. You know, the MC keeps track of every speaker and introduces them to the audience using their public speaking training. So napoy ihang own set of responsibilities ang usa ka MC, and definitely they are public speakers. No, they moderate, they also entertain. More sa kanang multifaceted role, no, being an MC. And later on we will be focusing on MCing also, and I'll be sharing my experiences also as an MC. An MC also work mostly in weddings, ceremonies, and shows, but serious events require MCs too, because there are a variety of programs ba yun, no, na ay mga formal events, formal programs which require MCs who are quite, you know, serious, or the serious type. Ako personally, I kind of belong to that area of the spectrum, no, the more serious type than the more funny type. So sa akong checklist dili kay tumo check ang word nga funny, no, kay I'm not a jester type, you know. I'm more of a serious type, but really I'm kind of working on it, and yeah, trying to find my way around it and navigate my way around it. So the next kind is a teacher. Yes, a teacher is also a public speaker, no, and not all teachers actually work in classrooms. A teacher works, diba? If we go back to the definition of a teacher works to educate a class, impart knowledge. So that class can be members of a team. And you, if you are a manager, no, if you are a supervisor, a director, and you are, you know, guiding your team members, then definitely you are a teacher too. And you are a public speaker. And we also have coaches. No? The first thing that comes to mind when we hear the word coach, usually mga sports coaches, you know, but no, actually, daghan po ta klase of coaches. No? A coach is like a teacher, but in a more personal way. No, and they don't all work in the field and play sports. There are also like life coaches, career coaches, academic coaches for grad students, and leadership coaches. And after getting some public speaking training, one can also become a public speaking coach, no, holding online public speaking courses or workshops. And so let's move on to the different kinds of speeches, or the different types of speeches. We're done with the different kinds of speakers. Now let's move to the different types of speeches. The first one is an informative speech. It's used to educate people about specific topics. So if you remember earlier, the kind of speaker, katong first one is a speaker, no? In ani nga mga speeches ang iyang gina-deliver. Okay? Informative, no, in the form of lectures, mga keynote speeches, plenary speeches. So again, informative speeches ay na to sa madunggan sa mga research forums, mga research congresses, conferences, research presentations, colloquiums. We also have what we call as persuasive speech. You know, persuasive speech is used to persuade people into something. So murabag kung sabi sa paagnihon bitaw ka into something. For example, sa marketing, I know most of you are in marketing or in the business industry, no? You are throwing sales pitches, right? A sales pitch is an example of a persuasive speech. For politicians, whenever they do campaigns, they also deliver persuasive speeches to persuade the audience to vote for them. Okay, so that's another type of speech. And another type of speech is a ceremonial speech. A ceremonial speech is formal, no? It's used to commemorate important events. For example, we have award acceptance tributes, eulogies, introductory speeches, and so on. Okay, next is demonstrative speech, no? Demonstrative speech teaches an audience about something they haven't heard before, no? Kabantay mo anong mo sa supermarket sometimes, yan ay mag-demonstrate sa kilid, na demonstrating their new product, basta mga blenders, mga kutsilyo, whatever. The speech that the demonstrator is delivering to the audience is actually a demonstrative speech. So that's an example of a demonstrative speech. Mga product demonstrations, product launches. This one, motivational speech. I'm sure no all of us nakakita na gitag usa ka motivational speech. It seeks to energize the audience and give them confidence to achieve their goals. No, ako my personal favorite is Brené Brown. Familiar ba ta with Brené Brown? No? Iyahang speeches are always about, about being courageous, and as the first step to be courageous, or to have that courage, is actually vulnerability, or being vulnerable. If you have time, you can look her up. Netflix, Call to Courage. You can watch that. Motivational talks, inspirational talks, na ay daghan ani sa YouTube, na daghan ani sa Facebook. Those are examples of motivational speeches. Kanang sa Gold Coast bitaw, daghan kina sila motivational speeches. Another one is an impromptu speech. This is murag among the types, murag mao ni say pinaka kulba. Kulba but short ra ang kulba, but ang intensity is grabe kaayo. Kana bitang wala ka na minaw sa klase, tagon kag galit. Okay. Can you answer this question? Yeah, wala ka kadungog sa question. Okay, wala ka na minaw. That's an example of an impromptu speech, the speech that you are not prepared for. So an example, class recitation, audience participation, something like that. Another type is debate, no? Pareha sa gipakita pod kaganina, where there is a moderator. So that's a debate used to justify a claim, and speakers have strongly held views, no? Examples are political debates and school debates. And the last type, special occasion speech. These are short speeches that aim to mark noteworthy events. So for example, in wedding receptions, no, magpropose og toast baron ang best man, or mughatag og speech ang papa sa bride, mama sa groom, or even in birthdays, no, na ay mga speeches muhatag og well wishes sa birthday celebrant. So these are special occasion speeches. All right. So I have a question. Anyone can answer. Who is the most important person in any program? Sige, anyone can unmute themselves and participate?
It's the audience.
Audience. Sige, kinsa ganini si Sir JR Chan. Kinsa pa ganito ni Tubag usa?
Ako.
Sir Yulo. Okay, Sir Yulo. All right, the audience. Sige. Sakto ka ha? And the answer is the MC. Okay. Sige, nganong the MC man? Why? Why do you think is the MC? Pero sakto to ha, audience is also important. But my question was, what is the most important, or who is the most important? Sige, why do you think Dr. Janet Mananay, be? Why do you think Doc Jan, nga ang MC man ang pinaka-importante?
Na-appeal dyan ko rin sa question and answer. Of course, the audience is important, but sa ganina, the most important is the MC, because he or she is the one leading the program. So in his or her shoes lies the flow. O mas-successful ba ang program, or mayabo ba? That will all boil down po sa reception po sa audience. So it's really more about how the MC manages the program. That's my own lang, Sir Kim. Sakto ba po?
Actually, sakto good kaayo, no? Because he is the master of ceremony, di ba? MC from the abbreviations M and C, meaning master of ceremony. Bitaw, this is just in my opinion, I might be very biased because I've already told you I've been an MC for 15 years now. Yeah, murag I'm already, nag-aalsa ng sariling bangko. Pero bitaw ha, I'm not discounting the members of the audience or even the speakers. Definitely you would argue, sir, importante sir ang audience, or sir, importante ang speaker. Kung wa ang speaker, then Pero let me tell you, B, what if na ang audience, na ang speaker, pero wa si MC? Magsugod ang program? Dili. Diba? So all of them are important, but for me, the most important is the master of ceremony. Many a time, dili gid magsugod ang program kay wala pa naabot ang MC. Hay naman ang MC nganong wala pa man nagsugod ang program. Unsa namang orasa? Late na ta, 15 minutes na tang late na ang mga speaker maikog tao. O di ba? So, kana no wata ka realize importante gid ay kayo ang MC, no? Actually all of these members are important. Para nako the most important is the master of ceremony, no? That's my opinion. Yeah. In your opinion, pwede pod nga lahi pod ang most important. Ano man, why am I putting premium on being an MC? Because the next part of my talk will actually be focusing now on being an MC. Okay? So, let's have first the responsibilities of an MC. What are the different responsibilities of an MC? Naka-mention na og daghan nga responsibilities ganin na si Dr. Janet, no, sa when I asked her who is the most important or why the MC is the most important. First responsibility of an MC. The MC provides the audience an overview of the program. No, whatever the program the MC is hosting or iyahang gi-MChan, the main responsibility yun, one of the main responsibilities of an MC is really to give the audience an overview of the program. What's going to happen if you're hosting a let's say a wedding reception baka ha, no, unsa may i-look forward sa mga audience for the entire program, no? Or if you're hosting a party, unsa may i-look forward sa audience. So as an MC, you would announce to your audience that, okay, in this program, ladies and gentlemen, we will be having fun. Diba? Tagaan mo sila og reason to stay and reason to be hooked sa program. We're going to have fun. Actually, we have prepared games for you and we also have exciting prizes. So see, and later on we will be dancing to the beat of the music. We will be listening to messages coming from these people and so on and so forth. So basically that's one of the main responsibilities of an MC, giving the audience an overview of the program or what the audience can expect for the entire program or for the next couple of hours or so. Another responsibility of an MC is to introduce important parts and important people of the program. Definitely, no, maong naatay gitawag nga MC mo, naatay gitawag og master of ceremony because siya ang tighanay, siya ang tig-introduce unsay mosunod. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we will now have, or let's listen to an inspirational talk coming from a person who is also an inspiration to all of us. She's no other than blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. The next part of our program is actually the meat of the program. No, so we will now have the singing contest proper and so on. No, so it's the MC's responsibility really to introduce these important parts and also the important people of the program. Now, mind you, over the years of MCing, I've come to learn that, you know, mispronouncing people's names is really a bad thing. No, so it's the responsibility as well of the MC to really make sure that the people he or she will be introducing kay sakto ang name nga iyahang mabasa, no? If I can share my experience with you, there was one event where I hosted nga the speaker is a foreigner, no? Yeah, lisod kayo i-pronounce because he was from Quebec. Doc John, familiar mo siguro ka ni Mr. ni Dr. Plaison? Diba? His name, kung atong basahon binisaya, Michel Plaisant. No, and knowing that he's from Quebec, Canada, I knew that French name to see. So I really needed to go to him and ask, sir, with all due respect, sir, may I know how your name should be pronounced? I don't want to mispronounce your name when I announce it later. And he said, you can actually announce it in any way you like. You can call me Michel Plaisant. You can call me Michel Plaison, French way of pronouncing the name, or you can call me Michael, or you can even call me Miguel. No, so it's a good thing nga game ra kay tanan ang speaker, no, so okay ra good. But others na agud no naka-experience pod ko nga after I announced gi-correct gyud, no, gi-correct gyud sa person. Diba? Depende man gud pod sa tao. So that's a responsibility of an MC to really make sure that these important parts and people are being introduced and being introduced accurately and properly. Next, kani mo ni gingon ni Dr. Janet ganina, no, makes sure the program runs smoothly. That's why we are hiring MCs, so that the MCs can facilitate, can moderate, and can make sure that the program will run smoothly. Okay nga walay mga dead air, no, nya walay mga boring nga mga parts, nga ang next part or ang kani nga mga important parts kay mahitabo gyud, mahinayon gyud, and so on. So this one is related to the third one. No, make sure there's no dead air. No, for an MC, ari mo gawas ang ihang pagka-resourceful. No, ako personally, based on my personal experience, I would really prepare for these possibilities. That's also one of the things that a good MC must have, no, sa iyang kagalingon. Always be prepared, no, nga or mag-anticipate ba nga what if naay part sa akong program nga ma-dead air, no, kay definitely naaman joy mga changes, no, naadyo na mga changes, and an MC should always be flexible to these changes. For example, mo na ni siya ang next part sa program, no, ang speaker na may motok, or let's say ang plenary speaker or ang keynote speaker na may motok. However, the video presentation of the plenary of the keynote speaker is not ready yet. Nason sa may buhaton nimo, di ikaw pod mag-think ka, hala, if I do not say anything, there will be a dead air niya. Wala na dayon, na boring na, murag para manggod nako, I consider it a mortal sin for an ST to allow dead air in his or her program, no. So muna mangita jud ko paagi daan, mag-prepare din ko sa mga leaflets of the program, no, naa dito ang vision, missions, organization, the committee behind the event, no, and anything else that I can read during these dead airs, no, or maybe kung wala ka na naka-prepare, then you must be quick in thinking unsa day next part sa program. Pwede ko mo negotiate sa organizing committee nga, ma'am, wala pa man ma-prepare, ma'am, no, so mo next part lang sa ako, is it okay kay taas na kayang dead air, ma'am, ya murag bati na kay tanan. Sige sir, go ahead. So kana, no, you just have to be quick in thinking of possible solutions, and important to that is you need to be calm as well, no, in making sure that the program runs smoothly again, and making sure that there is no dead air in the program. And of course, no, another responsibility of an MC is to keep the audience updated of the happenings in the program. If in the beginning, the responsibility of an MC is to provide an audience or the audience an overview of the program, what the audience can expect for the entire program, inigsugod na sa program, once the program has already started up until the end, it's the MC's responsibility to always keep the audience updated of the happenings of the program. So at this point now, guys, we will now have the blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Or at this point, ladies and gentlemen, the judges are still having a hard time, you know, computing the grades or choosing between or among the candidates who is the best, and so on and so forth. So at this moment, we're just going to blah, 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 and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So just kind of keeping the audience updated of what's happening para ang ilang attention will be maintained all throughout the entire program. So those are the responsibilities of an ST. Daghan pa responsibilities man ang usa ka MC, no. You will come to realize nga dili man din isa yun ang mag-MC ka. Yes, definitely it's not really easy to be an MC. That's why I, for one, consider an MCing or a skill in MCing a specialized skill, no. Just as teachers have a specialized skills in teaching, or a doctor has a specialized skill set in treating patients, in surgery and whatnot, and MC also has his own specialized skill set, no, nga distinct ra pod sa usa ka MC, no. Kay sometimes mo vary gyud, na ay times nga mahimo siyang timekeeper, no, mag keep track sa time nga, hala, taas na kayo ang speech niya, mangita din siya paagi to inform the speaker nga 10 minutes na lang ka, and so on. Or sometimes mahimo po siyang mini organizer, no, in cases wherein naay program pero wala bitay organizer gyud sa program, gitawag lang ka as the MC, and then ikaw ni mo figure out what happens next, what happens after this, and so on. So now let's move on to the different characteristics of a good MC. Also, all of these are based on my own personal experience, from my own personal experience as an MC and my experience observing other good MCs. Number one is punctual. No, a good MC should be punctual. Nga naman, because of course, no, you cannot be late. No, kaganina ningon ko nga most important person yun in a program is the MC. That's why you have to be there ahead of everyone else because you need to prepare your program na naka-script daan ahead, gi-prepare na nimo. And however, those scripts sa imong gi-prepare nga script dapat to sa mga blank spaces, no? For example, kaning part opening prayer, kinsa man ang mo hatag sa opening prayer and then you were not informed ahead of time, so mag-leave jud kag blank space sa imong script, then you go to the venue ahead of everyone else and ask the organizer, ma'am, kinsa gani di ito ang opening prayer, and then you jot down the name. And also you need to be punctual so that you would be si tawag ini makaila ka kinsa ang mga important persons, especially if the names are not familiar to you, no? Makakita pa ka ba nga, ay okay, maondi ni siya ang ilang kon or mangutana pa ka sa organizer, ma'am naabot na ni si kuan, ma'am kinsa din ni siya, asaan ni niya, kinsa ni siya nga, asaan ni sa audience, and so on. So another thing, you need to be punctual because you need to get the feel of the environment, no? Especially kung mga venues nga dili pa familiar nimo, diba? Or you just want to get the kana unsa may atmosphere di ay ani nga environment. Is it happy atmosphere? Is it a unsa ba melancholic atmosphere para later on imong ma-injectan og humor para mo lively ang kuan. So there, no, that's a characteristic, one of the characteristics of a good MC, being punctual. Another is flexible to changes. Makarelate gid ani si Dr. Mananay, no, kay Ma'am Janet is a very prolific MC po, no, in school events. Kana bitong you have everything planned out already. You have already written your script, and then turns out pag abot sa time, hala mausab Sir Kim, kani Sir Kim kay ibalhin din ni siya dito Sir Kim, ya kani Sir Kim sa last na ni siya kay kani Sir Kim, and so on. So there, you need to be very flexible, no? Ang imong mindset ani dapat dili siya structured, because tendencies are, if structured kayo mo yung imong mindset, you will be stressed by the end of the program because wala gid na follow at all ang imong gi-prepare nga script. So you need to be very flexible to changes because definitely what you have planned will not actually go 100% good. Naadyo na yung margin of error gamay, no? As an experience as well, wala pa ko kasuway nga ako ang script gisulat, paghuman na sa program, same gihapon iyang dagway when the program started. No. By the end of the program, daghan na kay nag mga scribbles, daghan na kay nag mga notes because kipangbalhin nga part, and so on and so forth. There, being flexible to changes. And also you need to be calm. I think I already mentioned this earlier nga. You need to be calm so that you're able to think quickly of a possible solution to this challenge nga imong na-meet. Kay real time ang good ni, no? Especially if we are dealing with a program nga kana bitong what do definite time ang mga speakers maabot. Just like, for example, nag-host ko atong event nga ning visit si Senator Villanueva sa school. We pegged it at 1:30 in the afternoon, but turns out the program started at 3 in the afternoon already because wala jud mi hold sa kung kanus ang maabot definitely si Senator Villanueva. So you just have to be calm. You need to have this mindset nga kalma ra ka nya, imong i-prepare imong self daan for the possibility nga there will be a lot of changes. Be flexible in that and be quick in thinking of unsa man hala nag dead air na ko kay wala pa day na prepare sa technical team ang video, abi na ko gi-prepare nila kaganina, but turns out na nag-internet connectivity issues, unya wala ning play gikan sa Google Drive, so ila pang gi-download at the moment. So unsa may akong buhaton, sige mag-announce sa kog further announcements, or kinsa ang mga committee members ani nga program ang ako announce, and so on, no? So that's another characteristic of a good MC: quick thinker, resourceful, and also patient. There will be programs that murag mo stretch siya almost to an eternity, no? Sa imong feeling ba nga hala oy nag 4 hours naman, oy akong tuo ani is 2 hours naman gyud, but nag 4 hours naman kay tag-as kayong speeches sa mother, sa father, napagid ang auntie, napagid ang mga pag-umangkon, mga gagmayng bata gipa-speech og appeal. So you need to be patient. Kay again, if you start feeling agitated, if you start feeling bored, your audience will definitely feel it because you are channeling out these energies to your audience and they will definitely feel it. So you have to be patient as well. You have part of your anticipation is the anticipation nga maybe or the anticipation of the possibility that maybe ma-extend yun ni siya. So you would always give allowance to that. Definitely talkative, no? Murabag ka nang kung sa list pa ni sa kuan, ang talkative na gini sa top part, no, sa list. characteristics of a good MC, because of course the business of the MC there is really to talk, to engage the audience through talking to them, through speaking to them, right? So muna siya dapat talkative po ang good MC. And of course, funny, at certain points sa program, kay kinahanglan man mag-play by ear ang MC ng murag na boring na lagi ning dapit, no, or murag nakuha na lagi dapit. So, no, to part diha, quick thinker resource, so magkuan ko, mag icebreaker ko, or mag-inject ko og mag-throw ko og punchline baron, di ba? No, so that's also a characteristic of a good MC. But again, as I told you earlier, ako personally, no, I'm not so much of a funny guy. So munang mas ganahan ko ari sa mga formal events, no, because dili kaayo mag-need og mga punchlines. But however, pwede gihapon na, no, even if you're hosting formal events, definitely you can still inject humor there, no? And of course, an excellent reader. Why do I say this? No, kani personal, all these are actually kanong characteristics nga ako mismo nagthink nga dapat a good MC should have this. But for me, I really put premium on excellent reader, because come to think of it, if you are MCing, di ba, you have your script, and this script is imong gi-prepare ahead of time. The moment you're going to deliver that script, you will be reading the script. However, bisag nag-read ka, imo lang jung gi-make sure, no, nga you are glancing at the audience, you are maintaining eye contact to the audience in the parts nga imong na-memorize. But excellent reader, because dapat you have proper phrasing, proper intonation, proper modulation of voice. Because kung wala ni silang tanan, your audience will not understand what you're talking about. You will not be able to send the message across to your audience. Diba? So para nako excellent reader gyud. Dapat excellent reader gyud ang usa ka MC. So now let's move on to the essentials, no, of MCing. And again, these are all based on my experience. I begin usually, or mga 98% of the time, planning or script writing yun. While impromptu MCing can be an indication of higher level of MCing, no, kay para nako manggod kung dili na magdepende og script ang MC, no, nga maka-facilitate siya well sa kwan, higher level na gyud na. However, I also believe that a good MC is someone who is prepared. No, prepared in the sense that he got the names correctly, he got all the parts correctly, and he has all these accurate words to be used to describe these people and parts appropriately. No, so muna dapat diha nga part prepared daan si MC. That's why mag-start yun og writing the script. No nya. Muna mag-need ka na sa program flow, unsay first part, unsay second part, kinsa ang mga people nga involved ani nga part, and so on. Writing the script is as important as the act of MCing itself, because it is where you iron everything out. Di ba, kay mag-think mong unsa may nindot nga mga adjectives nga maka-describe ani nga person, kay siya man ang mo deliver ani nga speech. Unsa man as an MC, how do I introduce him or her? So that's why no mag-search ka, for example si Testaman or Senator Villanueva, unsam sa Testaman o mo dinihang kon. So ako siyang i-appeal sa akong introduction sa iyaha, and so on. So kana this is the part where you iron everything out. So this is very important. This is very essential, no? So for example, there's a saying here, no, from Dale Carnegie. Only the prepared speaker deserves to be confident. Diba, kay definitely if you are prepared, wala no reason to feel nervous. Kulbaan siguro ka kung dili ka prepared, right? Diba, kay I think if we try to analyze it, our fear would actually spring from the fear of making a fool out of ourselves. That's why we are so afraid to take these mga public speaking engagements. No, kay murabag mahadlok ta ba nga, lano masayo pa lang ko dito, marong grammar pa lang ko dito, or something, katawan ko sa mga tao. So it's essentially that fear of failure, no, that kanang hinders us from taking on these roles of public speaking. However, if we are prepared, then malesen og dako kaayo nga margin ang possibility nga masayop ka, because you are prepared, man, no? And somehow it boosts your confidence. That's according to Dale Carnegie. So I'll show you sample scripts, no, that I've Well, I've written in every single program that I hosted. Naadjud ko yung script niya. Inaani gyud ang dagway sa akong sa akong scripts, no? Sorry. So here, no, this kaning in bold mo ni siya ang specific parts, and then these are my spills. Mo ni ang title sa program, November 3, and ana. So for example, this one, introduction. Sa akong gingon kaganina mag-search ko unsay akong ika-sulti about aning a person. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are all honored this afternoon to be visited by a very busy man, a formidable person in the Philippine Senate who makes sure Philippine tertiary education, be it higher, vocational, or technical, is functional and able to deliver its mandate of producing self-reliant and resilient citizens who can act as leaders and role models in their communities. He is Senator Joel Villanueva, the chair of the Senate Committee on Higher, Technical, and Vocational Education. So kung impromptu pa ni siya, dili ani kalami ang mga words nga akong masulti to describe Senator Villanueva. No? So this only proves how important planning and script writing is. No? It's very essential, no, for MCing. Another set of essential things, no, for MCing are bearing, confidence, and conviction. When we say bearing, it's how you carry yourself. No, and as what I've known, no, in my professor before, in one of my professors before, makita daw na sa imong shoulders how you carry yourself. No, if you are slouching or you are standing tall, so you should have a good bearing. In other words, you should have good posture, even if you're sitting down or you are standing. Okay, because that also commands respect. This happens psychologically. It does not happen in conscious thought. But psychologically, mo follow ra gina ang mga tao, maminaw nimo because you have this commanding presence there in the podium because you are standing straight, you have very good bearing, you are confident, no? Prepared kastanan ka imong overcome ang imong fears and apprehensions, and you speak with conviction, speaking with a certain degree of certainty. For example, no, I'll be delivering this line, for example, no, kanang okay, try to differentiate these two deliveries. Okay, the first one is this. I'll be delivering this line, this part. Let us all pause for a moment's silence for the prayer. This will be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem. Both numbers will be led virtually by the Cebu Normal University Chorale under the baton of Professor Darlene Yap. So that's the first one. Second one, please observe. Let us all pause for a moment's silence for the prayer. This will be followed by the singing of the Philippine National Anthem. Both numbers will be led virtually by the Cebu Normal University Chorale under the baton of Professor Darlene Yap. Was there a difference? Anyone from the audience? Was there a difference to those two deliveries?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. Unsay na-notice ninyo sa first one? Anyone?
Emphasis of voice. Emphasis of voice.
There is no conviction on the first one.
Right.
Lifeless.
Right. Thank you so much, Yulo, Ma'am Carol. Lifeless, no conviction. While on the second one, there was a certain degree of certainty right there, right? Did I mispronounce some words in the first one? No. Diba? Lami gihapon pagkasulti ang kada individual words. There was proper phrasing, but there was no life and there was no conviction. And the audience will feel that, and the audience will hear that. See? So there, that's why it's important for an MC to have bearing, confidence, and conviction, no, certain degree of certainty. Another important thing right there is rapport or eye contact. No, rapport, establishing that connection, that relationship with your audience. Nga dapat naa ka ni, because you will not be able to send your message across without this connection with your audience. No? And how do we do that? By establishing eye contact. No, kaya diba when we stand in front of a lot of people, normal man siguro na nato to look for eye lines, diba? Ang immediate nato nga makitaan ba sa atong audience, eye lines man yun. So there, that's one of the first steps that we can do in order for us to establish this strong bond or this strong relationship with our audience. No, para easy ra kay ka maka-deliver sa imong lines, no? You can just as easily ask them questions if you like, no? Kung nahutda na kag something to say, you can ask them questions, you can interview them, and it will really be very easy for you to do that because you have this connection. Another essential, no, that we need to take note is enunciation or pronunciation of words. No, MCs must at all times pronounce words accurately. Ato ng responsibility ha to make sure nga ang words nga atong i-deliver will be accurate, correct pod, no. So this even includes the names, no. Para sa akong example kaganina nga, kinahanglan gyud ako pangutanan ng speaker unsa iyang name, how it should be pronounced, because I don't want to commit a mistake when I pronounce the name, no. Kani pod makita ni nato when we write our script, no, kung natay mga certain words nga atong pamutang later on ka-realize ka di ko sure unsa ni sa pag-pronounce kaning word. Okay, so for example, common mistake, no, kaning first word rationale, diba? And when we do a simple search in Google, it will tell us that it's just rationale. Before in high school, I was told that kaning second word is insam kuno ni. Unsa say din sa kato nakitaan sa akong teacher sa una nung ana siya insam kuno na siya, the proper way of pronouncing it. And then di man jud ko convinced. So I searched ensemble gid siya, ensemble. Ngano insam ang tigisulti sa akong teacher before. And this one repertoire. And even with names, no, very common mistake. Manotice gid nako even the most prolific mga maayo kay nga mga speakers, Thailand. No, it's supposed to be Thailand. It's not Thailand, it's not Thomas, it's not Therese. No, kay English man tayo, ang atong basis is the American English man. TH, especially sa mga names, should be an aspirated T. So Thailand, Thomas, Therese. So kana lang siya, kinahanglan nato silang i-make sure, no, because that's our responsibility as an MC. So how do we improve? Of course, we imitate movies, videos, audio recordings, etc. Ako personally, diri ko dako kayog improvement through this one, through imitation. Na times before nga mo watch ra kog movie not for the purpose of understanding or not for the purpose of entertainment, but for the purpose of just, imitating the people talking in the movie. Whatever they would say, I would repeat it until mura na kog pareha nila, ang sound nga ako ma-produce is pareha na nila. So something like that. I learned how to I tried practicing my British English before when I was in high school, and this was what I did. I imitated movies. I watched a lot of actually all Harry Potter movies before. Like I would always repeat until so ako rin ibalik-balik no Harry Potter kay ganahan ko makaton sa British accent. So kana imitation lang yun. And also asking Google, sa akong example kaganina, if nakay dili sure niya, wala kay ma-imitate diha, just ask Google. No? I-search nimo sa Google this one, pronunciation. Dale Carnegie pronunciation. Muhatag ra po na nimo sa pronunciation. Naani ka ng murag speaker bitaw nga icon, you can click on that. And then reading tongue twisters. According to them, not so much of a personal experience, but according to them, this can help because doing tongue twisters will loosen up your oral muscles and enable you to pronounce words a little better, not clipped. Okay. And then voice modulation. This is very important as well. Voice modulation is when you control or adjust your voice. It's when you go louder or softer, faster or slower, dramatic or emotional. No, so there, this the control, the adjustment of your voice. Basically, voice modulation means just using your voice and tone to communicate your message more effectively. No. By the way, even if I'm referring to all these essentials are as essentials for emceeing, these can also be applied in any manner of public speaking. No, kanang whether speaker ka or kuan ka, dapat naagi hapon ka ani nila, no, magplan ka, mag-write ka sa imong speech, di ba? Nya na kay voice modulation, dapat na kay bearing, confident ka, you speak with conviction and all that. These can still be applied to any kind of public speaking. And coupled to voice modulation is intonation. Okay, from the word tone, di ba? When we speak Manggod, actually, it's like we are singing. There are specific tones at specific syllables that we are throwing out from our mouth. For example, the phrase, for example, di ba? For example, diri kitaas-taas siya nga tone pag abot sa word sa syllable nga pol na naog ka. For example, kung i-play na nimo sa piano na adto na. For example, I am talking to you. See, there's a tone when we speak, and that's what we call in general as intonation. So intonation is the melodic pattern of an utterance. Intonation is primarily a matter of variation in pitch level of the voice. Why do I consider this essential? Because this is very helpful again in facilitating, in allowing your audience to understand what you are talking about. Okay, kung dili nindot ang imong intonation, kung wala kay intonation at all, flat lang bitaw, bati kay sa paminaw, no? For example, this one, no, kung flat lang ang intonation, our current situation right now can easily be a cause of stress and anxiety. However, we always take solace in the fact that there is always hope for recovery and healing. Mura sa computer, di ba? Ka-notice mo? But if you have intonation there, our current situation right now can easily be a cause of stress and anxiety. However, we always take solace in the fact that there is always hope for recovery and healing, and that there are people working hard for this to happen. This is what keeps us going. This is our inspiration. And now, to further inspire us to take our place in the act of working towards recovery and healing, is the ever active, dynamic, and supportive officer in charge of the Office of the University President of Cebu Normal University. Please help me welcome Dr. Filomena T. Deogbil. A virtual applause, please. See there, I applied intonation and I applied modulation there. No, kay para dili ba siya more sa kanang sa lifeline bitaw nga patay, kabantay mo ng patay nga lifeline nga. Ano, dapat alive ang lifeline, no? So that's intonation. And also for modulation, if you noticed here in this part, I delivered it at a normal pace and a moderate loudness, right? And pag abot na diri, ni slow na gamay, softer ang voice. This is what keeps us going. This is our inspiration. And then pag abot nga ring apart, these are the words with emphasis and a little louder at that, no? Active, dynamic, and supportive officer in charge to the Office of the University President of Cebu Normal University. Please help me welcome Dr. Filomena T. Deogbil. See? Okay. When we write our scripts, actually, dili gyud ni manggawas tanan, no, nga kinahanglan gyud nimong i-analyze nga dapat diri nga part kay slow na nako sa pagkabasa niya, dapat diri nga part kay loud. Kay no murag complicated na kayo, no, kung gi-present na ko ninyo karon ba mo na mga nilisura dayan nang magsuwat og script niya, mag-deliver, mag-MC. Actually, it's not. That's why I told you earlier nga you just have to be an excellent reader. Kay if you noticed, I was just reading the spiel. I was just delivering the spiel, but in a manner that has conviction. There was intonation, proper modulation of voice, and emotions as well. Diba niya, really giving justice to what you are delivering. That's all there is, no, when you are emceeing. Para ma-feel good sa audience, no? Kay inig pamati sa audience makana gis lang, oh, bitaw, no, kanang inspiration gyud niya, siya gyud kay kuan gid siya, active, dynamic, supportive, and so on. So motuo jud ang imong audience nimo. And of course, the last essential one is dressing for the occasion. No, what completes the package is the looks. And so depending on an occasion, an MC must dress the part. You know? So these are examples. Now this one I hosted an awarding ceremony or an awarding night. That's why I was wearing barong or Filipiniana. This one I was hosting a congress at SMC side. That's why I was wearing my terno there. This one semi-formal, no, kay kuan man ni pageant, Mr. and Miss CNU po niya siya. So ang inner shirt kay plain shirt lang ya, ang outside kay coat, and then the pull up ang sleeves. This one obviously is a graduation ceremony, so definitely mag-academic gown pod. This one is a wedding. One of my best friends, si Rachel. So casual lang gid siya, no, casual nga attire lang gid. And this one is a debut. Yeah, beachfront man siya. So I also had to wear something mo jive with the occasion. So that's the last one, no, essential of emceeing. So I'm already talking for 55 minutes. I understand supposed to be 40 minutes ako magtabi, no? So I'll just make this quick. Additional tips for emceeing. Know the event. Again, plan. Bali, these additional tips are called from the internet already, no? Publicwords.com and codeofliving.com. So know the event, plan. And write your script, no, in the process of planning. Read and assess your audience. Be punctual in the venue para maka-assess ka sa imong audience or sa imong environment. Mo din familiarize yourself with the room. Okay? And then feel good about yourself. Be confident, no? Anyway, naka-prepare man ka, so you should be confident now. Just relax, no? As I said earlier, you need to calm down. You need to be relaxed, no, para maka-quickly think ka og possible solutions sa any challenge that might arise. And then you concentrate. Okay, mo ni siya next, mo ni siya kay basig masayop unya in taon ka og announce, no? Ang na-announce nimo nga winner kay imbes ang si tawag ang Philippines kay ang Colombia noon ang imong ma-announce. So nakakita ka taana, no? Right in front of our eyes, international stage. It happens, no? Because walay concentration kayo, or at that moment na wala ang concentration ni Steve Harvey. And then speak with certainty, no? With conviction, with a certain degree of certainty. And of course, show up some energy because walay ganahang maminaw sa tao nga walay energy. No, especially if you're an MC, because again, you're the master of the ceremony. You're the one, bringing the audience with you, the one facilitating, you're the one running the program. Okay, so difference between MCing in face-to-face and virtual means for the venue, definitely you have to be there physically kung face-to-face. For this column, you have to be there physically. Virtual, you will be at the comfort of your home, just like what Dr. Janet Manan is doing right now, or even ako as a speaker, no, nara ko sa balay. Okay, so murag makasave ta sa atong plitihan, no, o sa atong time pod as well. And then the audience, for the audience, you can easily feel and assess your audience if virtual, face-to-face. Kaya of course, makita man nimo dayon, no, ang ilahang responsiveness, ilahang warmth, ang ilahang attitude, kung kanang majokan ba sila, no, kung gasigi ba sila smile and so on, kung gamugot ba sila or whatnot. In virtual mode, it's difficult because your audience, not all the time they'll be opening their videos. And if you are the speaker and you are sharing the screen, there's no way for you to see your audience unless naakay tapad nga another screen or another gadget. Or same thing gihapon kay nag-close man gihapon sa videos ang mga tao, so di gihapon ka maka-access. As to the outfit, kung face to face, you have to be spotless from head to foot. Di ba? Buhok, naong, polo, belt nimo, ang imong kuan. At least for my own experience, kay of course ko kasuway nga kuan male outfit man ginato for the males. But for the females as well, same thing, no? Head to foot gihapon na. But for virtual, you only have to dress up the upper half of your body. Diba? Kay, of course, postaan na ita, ang mga nakasuway na diri og MC, di jud ko mo tuo nga nagsapatos mo while doing this virtual MCing. Na nagchinilas ra gid mo diha or nag-shorts. Diba? Diri ra kaayong may nindot. Diba? Hindi mo sana makita sa imong screen. Spontaneity, you can be very, very spontaneous in face-to-face. Virtual, less spontaneous because na ay lag time, no? Especially the response time. Smoothness, relatively smooth, very less interruptions kung face-to-face. If there are any manggaling, can easily be addressed through quick thinking and resourcefulness. While in virtual, you're always at the mercy of your internet connectivity. The moment your internet connection is cut in the middle of your speech, you're definitely out of the program. So these are the differences between face-to-face and virtual. However, there are things na constant for both. Okay? And these are the following. Number 1, preparation for both F2F and virtual. Mag-prepare gyud gihapon ka, magsulat ka sa imong script. You need to be punctual for both. No, kay dapat kanang sayo gihapon ka bisag nag-virtual ka kay same thing gihapon maki-feel ka sa imong audience and so on. Bearing confidence and energy, same thing. No, even if you're just sitting down, you should not slouch. You need to sit properly, no, with good posture. Same thing, modulation, intonation, and proper enunciation, because you are sending out a message to your virtual audience. They need to feel it, and they need to understand what you're talking about. Flexibility, calmness, and resourcefulness. Kay mahitabo gihapon virtual program, mausab-usab gihapon. Kuan kanang wala pa ma-prepare ang video. Sige, so coordinate din ka with the organizing team, no, through your GC. Kanang Dong Anji, magkuan ako ha, mag-video na ko. Sir, wala pa. Sige, lahi lang sa atong i-play sa screen. Andama diha, technical and so on. See, so these are the constants for both face-to-face and virtual means. And so going back to glossophobia, I don't know if you would believe, but yes, I also had glossophobia. I also have glossophobia, or the fear of public speaking. And yet, here I am delivering this talk to you guys. How did I overcome it? No, before kay naman ko'y fear gyud no of facing a huge crowd. So what I did was ako ra just gi-analyze nga whenever I would do or I would host something and I would feel agitated, no, to appease my agitation, to appease my nerve, mo na jud ko nga kinsa man dayang akong i-please. If there's only one being that I should please, it should be God, di ba? And so all else will not matter. Sakto gyud lang giingon nga mga bukong ra na silang tanan. Kulbaan na kistanan ko, Lord. Unsaon man nako, Lord, nga kulbaan man jud kistanan ko. And thankfully, ni answer good ang Ginoo. Niya na gyud siya nga, Kim, no one else matters but me. And so every time I would come up to the stage, nya kulbaan kistanan ko, maingon ra jud ko, all of them don't matter because I only have one audience, and that's God. So siya rang akong i-please, siya rang akong pasmailon, siya rang akong pakatawoon, siya rang akong. And if ma-fail man galing nako si God, dili yan ako siya dili man siya manghinaway nako, dili sa kunya kasab-an, no? So and true enough, yeah, it really helped me overcome my fear of public speaking. I would pray before I do any speech, and even in this one, I prayed before I started. And really, you would feel the Holy Spirit descending and then calms your heart down, you know, and napoy mga help along the way, no? Kaganina si Doc Janet, no, gipakuha niya ang audience, no, giset niya ang audience, so naka-peace po siya sa akong nerves. So that's how I overcome it. And every now and then naamang gihapon, okay, di man dyan na malikayan, makulbaan man kita, normal reaction man na sa tong lawas. And then dili ra gihapon ko mag-goal if makulbaan ko, because according to a friend of mine, he said nga, your nerves will actually keep you alive. Diba? Kung wala ka kulbay, wala kay life, wala kay lamig. So allow me to end this talk by this these words from Ralph Waldo Emerson. All the great speakers were bad speakers at first. In other words, we always begin with that first time. And if we are persistent, if we are just always there, showing up every single time the call arrives, then a time will come, we will become better at this craft. So I think that's also what happened to me. So thank you so much for your attention. I've eaten 1 hour and 3 minutes of your time. If you have questions, you can just send me an email, rodriguezk@cnu.edu.ph. Thank you so much for your attention.
Daghang salamat kayo, Sir Kim. Actually, even if you take an hour, so valuable good kayo imong time and all your inputs, right? Brothers and sisters?
Yes.
Agree kayo gyud, no? So in fact,
Yes.
yeah, there are a lot who actually messaged me, Sir Kim, no, nag-private message ako nga, ma'am, di mami mag-ma'am, actually, Sir Kim, mag-sis, sis, and, dili ba, sa awa within us, pero okay na gito. So, yung sila na ako, mga sis John, nindot kaayo ang message yun, nindot kaayo ang imuhang talk. So, let's give Sir Kim our thunderous applause. Virtual, virtual, everyone. Of course, very helpful kaayo yun sa tanan nga imong gi-share, Sir Kim.
My pleasure, Gid. My pleasure. Thank you, Kayo.
Based on experience, Gid kaayo na, no niya. Kang kikog na learn Gid. So that's Sir Kim, Dr. Kim Francis Rodriguez, brothers and sisters, our Public Information Officer of Cebu Normal University. So at this point, of course, we proceed with our Q&A. Kay basi na yung mga pangutana. But bros and sis, ayun lang yun mo kaikog. Although there is already a move good to speak in English all the time because we are in the BCBP. But sa pagkakaroon kay, kung pamanta, napamagita sa stage of learning, right? So at this point, kung naamoy pangutana, pwede na kita magbisaya lang usa for now. But when we start the Emceeing na good, especially for our breakfast, it's a mandate na magyud siguro, no, quote and quote, to really speak in English. But sa pagkakaroon, again, let me emphasize, pwede na gid mabisaya, kay di na gid na maglagot si Sir Kim nato kung magbisaya ka katong questions, ha? So, yun sir na ay mga questions, please raise your hand, or you can just unmute yourself, no? Di mauhog yun. Kay This is our time, collegial. Anyway, kita-kita ra bitaw diri. There are 23 participants, but times 2 ni siya, Sir Kim, because double money by couple. So we are having mga 40 plus or 50. Kaya naman po uban nga wala ang ilang mga spouses. So mga 50 atong audience karon. So kinsa na ay first pangutana, murag excited kay mangutana si murag nag-type si Bro Elcid or kinsa man na ay mga questions din ha. Sige, you can start the ball rolling. O wala pa ako na ay first question, Sir Kim.
Sige, Doc Janet.
Okay,
Sure.
In my experience of Emceeing, it was a very big event, no? Bros and sis kay kuanto siya kana bitang license. Saan siya magkuan na sa license sa PRC? Oath taking of the new graduates sa PRC. So, of course, daghan kayo ang audience, dako kay sana kay it was a regional event na dito jud ko kuyawan kay kung kuloy Ginoo ko Lord, kulba no? Kay sa imo nang giingon and everything. Oath taking ba ya? So the big the gods of the licensure were there. So tanan gyud kada mga technical panel sa PRC to adito mga national kuan so to kulba kay ko. So sa akong kakulba sa giingon na nimo Sir Kim, mag-pray man gyud ta, mag-prepare. So prepared kay ko karon kay naa man gyud ko na sayop. Unsay akong sayop? Nilat-ang ko og usa ka part sa program which is ang katuna ta nga part kanang mo message ang katong top notcher. So there was a top notcher, nag-ready na siya pero wala ko siya tawag kay ni proceed ko sa next. Siguro ganahan ako mahuman dayon ti ganahan na jud ko muling ko kulba na kaayo ba. So unsay buhaton na Sir Kim, for example na nasayop ka unya kanang hala dili pa man di ay sumurag wala na gyud envelope na gyud ko sa akong kakulba. So kanang mga inana nga moments Sir Kim like you are in na error imuhang mga activities while there on stage.
Yes.
How do you usually
handle
anak Sir Kim?
Yes, Doc Jan, no kanang dili sad ko spared ana no because very daghan gyud nga instances nga masayop gyud ko bitaw. That's why I also included in the slides nga concentrate gyud no, dapat mo concentrate ka because you don't want to commit mistakes no in con. But also it happens, mahitabo gyud sila. So what I usually do is whenever there's a mistake, for example sa katong specific nga example nimo Doc Jan nga wala na ko ma-announce ni siya nga part, kung nasugdan na nako ang next part, ako na siyang ipadayon. After that part, I would be very honest gyud to the audience by telling them, I am so sorry I missed this part. My bad. I sincerely apologize. But of course, we cannot move on without hearing from. So makita nato diha na element of quick thinking, na element of calmness at the same time kay kung calm ka makathink ka, hala di sad ko pwedeng mang bluff. Okay, I cannot afford to bluff because they would know mag-stutter noon ko all the more ma-cover ma-blow na noon akong cover nga nag-bluff man ni siya. It's never wrong to be very honest with your audience as well. Especially kung nakay mga sayop niya. Even in teaching, no, that happens to us in teaching, manggod nga, or maybe it's because I've been a teacher as well. Niya ako siyang na-apply in my hosting. For example, when I teach and then ay mga words nga mispronounce, niya the kids would correct. Teacher, it's not like that. It's supposed to be. Oh yes, thank you so much for that correction. I didn't know that. Right now, I already know. Thanks to you, something like that. No, yung kanang giving credit, no, to whoever it's due. Same thing. We can also use that when we are hosting and kung masayop man galing ta, it's never wrong to admit our mistake and admit that kanang na-corrected ka. No, so I stand corrected. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry, I'm so sorry. This is my bad, really. I would really sincerely ask for an apology. Okay, so the next part actually is like this and like that. Parehas sa gibuhat ni Steve Harvey, no? Nganing take yun ko na siya og responsibility sa ko. So inana, Doc Jan, that's how I would handle it.
Thank you kaayo Sir Kim, Dr. Kim, no? So quick thinking, importante quick thinking and then focus. Siguro
concentration.
Kung baka nakaita, marag mawagtang na hinuon ta nagkasayop-sayop na gud hinuon, no?
True.
There is a question here, Sir Kim. I'd like to ask Bro Nelson to unmute your microphone para gud na ata interaction, Bro Nelson Makiling.
Actually, sis, naaring usab dire sis nag-ask. Sige na, oy. Mana yan the question sis, what to do ko no?
Oh,
When you experience stage fright or ma-blackout ka ba? When you're in front, kalimot ka sa imong sulti.
Okay, kung malimot ka sa imong insulti, ma'am, no, kanang Again, nagsuwat ta daan sa tong script, right? So diha mosod ang importance sa ironing out sa atong script. That's why naata dihay ako ang style manggod sa uban, I cannot speak for other MCs behalf how they write their scripts because definitely lain-lain may style. Ako agad whenever I write my script, I write it in a way nga kung unsay akong gi-imagine nga spills nga akong i-throw, mao joy akong i-write in toto. Others man good, maka-notice ko, they would only write bullets, kanang mga speaking points lang bitaw nya, murag mga keywords bitaw so that ini-glance nila sa ilang script, makakita sila ng keyword, mora ni dayon ang ilahang i-elaborate. Kana mga higher level na pud siguro na sila no, but ako personally, ako ang isuwat mong good yun, paragraph form kung naka-notice mo kaganina sa akong samples. That's why if mawala ko, I would just take time to stop or pause. But mukuan jud ko no kay wala man sila mabuhat kung wala ko'y masulti. So mo stop ra gid ko. Butang gid ako sa akong mind nga, okay, stop, pause, breathe. Pangitaon nako sa akong script kung asa nako dapit. Continue. Kana ra gyud. So that's where the importance of preparing your script really comes in. No, maka-help gid sila nato kaayo.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir
Thank
Kim.
you, Doc Kim.
Welcome, ma'am.
Yes.
Welcome.
Sige, Sis Virgie, no? Who else? Kinsa pa na yung mga pangutana, brothers and sisters? Mintras na pa si Sir Kim, kay very busy. Bigid ka itaw ni Sir Kim. Thank you kay Sir Kim ha for being with us today.
My great pleasure, yun.
Yes. Kung kana in terms of public speaking, nga pa ba tayo mga gustong i-clarify, unsaong kaha, pagpamaagi, be? Bro Elcid, naa kay question niya, Bro Elcid. Sis Del?
So far, sis, none.
So far.
Dami kikatawa, oh. Yes, Bro Yolo, you are recognized.
My question is John is, what if you're in the middle of the stage and then kanang ang imong voice ba di nimo makontrol nga murag gakurug-kurug yun unsaon naman na?
Yes, ma'am. Kanang actually kuan jud na so na indication jud na siya of our nerves gyud no nga mukurog gyud ang atong tingog, especially if grabe na gibitaw kayo say maabot bitaw diri ang atong kulba. No? Ang very cliche ni siya nga tip but works kuan gyud. It works, unsay tawagan, it works magic gyud. You have to pause. You just have to pause and then you take 3 deep breaths. Relaxation good. That's how you can somehow make your tensed muscles relax. So mo pause lang gyud ka, like pause, pause tanan. Three deep breaths yun. But of course, buhaton na nimo not in the middle of the speech. Nga nagstorya ka and then makurog na din kaya mo stop din kaya. Ayaw sad. Kana lang before you begin, no nga kana naka-feel gid ko mga gikulbaan naman gid ko Lord, saan ko man ni Lord. So kana just stop, pause and then take 3 deep breaths gyud. Nya mukam mo somehow makuhaan gyud ana ang imong kakulba. No, ang tension ba, ang tension.
Okay, thank you very much, Doc.
Okay, we have another question, Sir Kim. Before Bro Rod and Sis Mylene, okay, there is a question from Bro Lloyd and Sis Cheryl Torres. Good morning, Sir Kim. I'd like to ask if it is okay to throw funny jokes if we encounter a dead air during a formal program.
Yes, definitely it's a yes. No kay yeah, mo lagi ako man good. I don't know if you would notice no, but ako is dili kay ko funny nga person, dili kay ko jester type. So mo nang para gid nako it's a struggle always. No, it would always be sa gubangon kay nako ang mo adlib og something funny. But for those who are blessed enough to be pinamagi mga tao no nga by nature funny gid sila nya. When they crack something makapakatawa gid sa atmosphere, then definitely yes, no, even if it's a formal event, i-make sure lang nato nga dili siya, of course no kay mo matter man gyud sa unsa bay tawag ini kana bang na may mga jokes nga clean jokes, na po'y mga jokes nga offensive, na mga jokes nga dirty na gyud no. So i-make sure lang nato kung formal lang atong event, dili kita definitely magkatong mga dirty jokes or something, no nga, something. But as to the question of can we throw punchlines during dead airs informal events, yes, definitely, no. Okay, case tanan na siya.
Okay, thank you, Sir Kim. I'd like to give the floor to Bro Rod and si Smilene Baguio.
Doc Kim,
Yes, sir.
akong
Good
question
morning.
kining about sa kuan, kining sa impromptu ba kay naka-experience ko kanang particular akong kulba tong panahon na ka. Kasal sa ako ang apinsan from Mindanao. Ya, ang iyang wife na din sa Cebu.
Mm.
During sa wedding na pag-istorya mo ng family na kanang sa ilang side sa iyang asawa, side ko sa ako ang pinsan. So nag-attend ra ko ato. Karon kalit nagduol akong pinsan nga bay ikulay konsulti sa mo ang side. Wa ko kaanda mo niya gitawag na ako ang pangalan. So pag abot ko dito sa kanang pulpito ba kanang naman sila kuan. Naglibog gugun siya akong kanang introduction kanang sa may ana ang mga situation sir Kev. Kung sa may nga mga ayong kanang introduction ba kay katong lima kinalang kalma ka kinalang ano ba kanang sa nga ato nga sitwasyon sa may maayong buhaton para makalma ka nga masituate yung ka nga nalakas tubangan.
Okay. Sige sir, kanang okay, makarelate jud ko ana sir no because kasuway pod ko ana wedding pod no ya. Impromptu, hello, okay pa uning ano ako mani or something like that. So based on experience pod and maybe this can also serve as a con for everyone. Kay lagi no naka-feel man ta sa environment, of course wedding man siya no. So ang introduction, we can begin with or prior to the introduction, i-think lang ginato sa tong self nga kay impromptu man ni, we just have to be ourselves. We don't need to pretend nga may kita nga speaker or whatever or nga prepared ka sa nanta kay impromptu man. Okay? So just be yourself. So that's number one. Second, because it's a wedding, maybe you can explore the possibility nga ang imo introduction is about wedding or about experiences of married couple or just basically anything connected to weddings or marriage. No, so maybe you can start with kanira bang magminyo ta ko ani ana kay magbinisaya mangitan no sa ani nga mga kuan. So kana lang maybe one of the guiding principles, di sa guiding principle jud no, but a tip that I can give you is situate yourself lang to the occasion. Unsa man ang occasion nga naa nato ta nga gipa-impromptu ta and we get a general sense of it and kana mo benchmark ta diha mahog siya nga atong springboard for our speech. So that can be a good introduction.
Thank you sir.
Thank
Sige, sir.
you,
You're
Sir
welcome.
Kim. Kinsa po may na ay questions? Sis Rose. Yes, Sis Rose.
Good morning, Doc Kim. Akong
Morning,
question kay kanabitong during the time nga anak ko nga maghawid ko sa microphone di jud na ko magkuan mo kurog jud akong kamot dog as in kamot na jud niya tapos ako na lang ianas ako dinhi sa may buhaton na to mawala ko sa akong self
Okay.
magkurog naman akong kamot.
Okay, yes ma'am. Kanang again yeah, no, again it's an indication of our nerves no, but sometimes dili ta ka notice maong mukurog siya because we are gripping it too tightly. Di ba no? Kay kanang kung magkurog na bitaw ta niya, dili ta ka realize nga we are gripping the microphone too tightly and because we are gripping it too tightly, the more tension it creates. That's why mukurog gid siya. So, magkinahanglan gihapon ni siya sa atong active thought ba nga ay nikurog na ko sige so loosen it up. Kani bitaw nga mga terms nga just lose it up. In ana naagid ni sila basis. So kana usa na sa atong mabuhat nga for example nagkurog na ta musik na nga ngano ni kurog man ko ay so hugot ay kinato paggunit ang atong microphone. So i-loosen it up. Ya kung ang usa ka kamot imong gigamit nga nagkurog then ibalhin sa pikas. Ipahuway ang usa. Ning kurog na po ibalhin sa pikas, ipahuway ang usa. Kay of course, normal man gyud na tinuod sa pagkatinuod lang gyud, normal gyud nang akulbaan ta no nya. Kuan lang kanang anha mo sud ang how well we are in terms of how we control our nerves. No nya, unsay mga gamit nato nga mga techniques para kuan nya. Paspas putang maka-think unsaon. So kana lang siya ma'am.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Who else? Kinsa pa inainindot kay mo mga input, Sir Kim, no? So ipasapasay day ang microphone kay kung niya. Ang ako sa Sir Kim kanang basa kay kung kamot na niya.
Yeah.
Mura magkurinti man ang
Tinood.
kuan. Magkurinti man ang kanang microphone.
So why ko Doc Jan no nga nangorente naggihapinan gid ako sa panyo. Gikuha na ako og panyo, gihapinan gid ako siya kay kanang sweaty na magid kayo akong kamot niya. Naada ito'y murag mo ground something.
Oh,
Wala,
das ka
nangorente
kulba
gid
ba
siya.
gipaningot na di kag maayo. Kurintihan na nung kasamo ta nagkakulba.
Tinood.
Diba, Sis Lynn Magallanes? You have a question there, Sis Lynn? We're glad na magkatawa, Sis Lynn, diha, eh?
Wala na sis, wala na question.
Okay. Kamu na ba isunod ni MC, Sis Lynn o Broads, ha? Karong upcoming kuan? Joke lang. Kuyawa na, oh. Okay. Oh, nagpasiyaw na ko ba? Anyway, maitag funny lang po ko noon. Katawanan na ba ko? Katawa man mo, so katawanan na siguro ko. Let's ask from our chapter head. Unsa na right question eh, pero kani si Bro JR, maigi kay ni siya nga public speaker na gid mo man siya kulba gid tingali gid. Oy, na ba kay questions, Bro JR?
Di kulbaan na noon ko. I really had so many questions pero mas kusog man mo type atong mga kauban sa Talisay. Ang unhan ko pero miss question but so maminaw na lang ko sa answer. Anyway, Dr. Kim, kanang
Yes, sir.
there are times ba that when I do Emceeing or or facilitating our program, kanang mura bitag lami kay ang akong start sa sentence or sa ana bitaw because I do not usually do script bitaw kay mas maglibog ba hinungog og script ko, so murag more on kanang hinanggaw na lang gid ba. So there are times nga murag lami kayo usugod but maputol bitaw akong concentration and I cannot even finish a sentence.
Yes,
Kaya na bitaw nga murag matunga-tunga ra kutob and I don't know how to follow it up. What should I do?
Sir, kanang yes no kanang makasuway pug ko ana kanang impromptu nga mga iki-host diri bi ana niya. Tinuod jud na it's very challenging nga. Nakahuna-huna tag nindot nga introduction and yet hala murag loose end man ni wala man ko ika-end ani nga nindot nga with a bang nga strong kay tanan. Ko answer kanang maybe you can try if dili man jud ta mosulat og for example sa imong case dili ka mosulat og kanang kuan maybe you can katong gimon ka ganina nga murag mga bullets lang bitaw or items. Pero of course no kani man gud sad siya mo boil down ra gud gihapon ni into preparing para nako ba no kung ako pasultion mo boil down siya into sitting down and unsa jud kahay nindot isulti ani nga part no kung dili man mosulat og in paragraph form jud or in toto maybe katong bullet points nga sige ikuan ako siya nga ring nga dapita mo ni siya kung elaborate akong i-connect ani nya akong i-end ani something no kay kung maglibog ka nga naa kay basahon taas maybe it can help you if just words or phrases nga muhatag nimo og cue bitaw or idea nga kani mo din ako i-elaborate sunod niya mo glance na lang dayon ka sa imong script or sa imong list nga mo na din ni sunod para ano kay kani nga mga scenarios are usually ma-experience gid nato kung impromptu kanang wala bitaw tay time to prepare kanang mo na ra bitaw nga sige kay host ani o nya karon na dayon for example kanang sa school bitaw namo nga sa una sa HR ang HR namo hilig kay na ba Sir Kim ikay host ani birahon ka ba yang ang event kay an hour later na lang no mag-start na ang event so no time na jud ko mo write mo type sa akong kuan kay mag-print pa ko ana wala na jud ko time so akong buhaton is tan-aw ra gyud ako ang program sige mo ni ang program no oath taking ceremony sa mga bag-ong kuan okay ang akong first nga isulti siguro is about being a public servant nga unsa ni siya ka privilege for us to be a public servant and then siguro next ana kung mahuman akong tabi about being a public servant kanang not everyone is given a chance to be a public servant and here you are right now being a public servant you are about to take oath na dayon so mo ni akong next nga bullet point and then last is and so this morning or this afternoon we are going to witness the oath taking of our public servants in blah 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 so I only had 3 bullets no nya mura to ako i-glance maka-expound na dayon ko and then mahuman ra gid nako so matahi ra gihapon ako sa from beginning to end kanang kuan ra gihapon sir a matter of preparing lang gid gihapon.
Okay, thank you Doc.
Thank you kayo Sir Kim, Bro JR and all the rest who asked their questions maybe we can entertain last one siguro. Kisa pa may na ay mga clarifications or kanang mga kalibgan yun. So, ang magyud din because we are creating by a pool of experts. Yes.
Nako question sis.
Oh, yes, Brelsid.
Yes, Dukim naka-experience na kang you're the MC and nakakita ka sa audience nimo murag wa mo ma-place. So unsay mong gibuhat?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Naka-experience ko na nya. Naadyoy sa ako sa na-charge ako sa gadget. Okay. Naka-experience ko ana nya. To be honest lang gid pod, mao gid toy usa pod gyud sa pinaka-worst gyud nako nga experience, no. It was an event in Danao. I was just invited to be the host. Nya confident kay ko nga ma-okay ra ana and because the problem really was not so much with my emceeing or me being the MC. It was because of the organizers, failure sa ilang part ba, wala nila na-prepare ang mga specific nga mga parts, na ako'y gitawag, wala pa dahil diha, niya I was already told to begin, ano ba, wala bito nila make sure o sa daan. Kuan, ganang, to be honest, yeah, I just, sa katong nga parts or at least, no, kay, I think I was still learning pa man sa at that time. Wala ra gyud kanang nahuman ra gyud ang program nga naka-feel lang gyud ko nga ang audience wala gyud sila lami. And in fact, after the program someone approached me and said nga kanang batia sa inyong program oy yana sa kani. Yawa sagsagpa sa akong face kay ako jud yang giduol because mao man na kita man gud ang makita murag kita face sa program bitaw when we are MCs. But maybe one of the things that we can do is again no para nako is kanang if napaka sa program itself wala pa nahuman ang program kaysa ako nahuman namang good niya dito gihatag ang verdict ba nga way lami imong program or something like that. Pero if you are still in the program niya di ba i-assess ni imong audience kanang wala na sila ganahi or kanang nagduka na sila nagsige na sila panghuyab, you can throw jokes or punch-ins or punchlines or you can ask the audience questions. You can throw out trivia questions as well. You can interview the audience, no? Kanang nakasaway naman pud ko pud after ato nga horrible experience pud gid pud nako. Mo lagi it taught me a lesson nga dapat mag-prepare gid ko kung pananglitan ang akong mga audience is wala na gid sila kaayo. So muna niso sa akong mind nga why not ask the audience a question no kung kuan or interview them. Manaog jud ko sa stage sir, would you believe? Mangayo jud ko og kanang sana wireless microphone. Baby, let's try to ask the audience na if they're still with us kung sa may kuan na ako silang engage para makabalik sila paminaw nako. And so far so good ra man sa dinoon kay murag effective ra gid pod siya kay after ana ang imong audience kay magsige nag-atubang gid nimo no kay mahadlok mo balik kanila gyud mga tana ka balik.
Yes, thank you.
Doc. Thank you, Doc.
Oh.
Welcome, sir.
Okay, so mo boil down gid siya preparation and of course the importance gid of prayer, Sir Kim, no?
Yes,
Kay
definitely.
Holy Spirit gid tanan kay para ginis Ginoo atong ipangbuhat and here in the
Amen.
BCBP we might be called for emceeing. Di gyud mo balibad kana ang bros and sis ha because you know what as Doc Kim mentioned no nga it takes time and it takes a lot of practice. So, tagaan gitag opportunity for emceeing. Atong una-una nga, sige kay para ani manindot ko sa sunod. Kay di ba na ay mga horrible experiences. So, sa sunod akong tarungon. Okay. So, thank you very much Sir Kim. Napay usa ko nga mo pahabol siya. Last na gyud ha.
Sure.
Okay pa Sir Kim.
Sure,
One
problema.
last. Wa ni dapig-dapig si Bro Albert Mananay.
Sir Albert.
Sir Kim, salamat yung gayo sa imong very informative nga input.
My
and
pleasure,
very
sir.
inspiring. So, nga God-centered pag yun. Thank you, Sir Kim. Ako lang, Sir Kim, is matter ba, Sir Kim, or kanang wide reader ka ba? If you're a wide reader, will also be beneficial to your emceeing role if you're a wide reader?
Definitely, Sir Albert. Yes, it's a yes for me, gyud. Yes, kay many times na gyud it has helped me kana bitong mairaos ang mga dead air kay for example kanang na dead air niya sa so, ako itabi ha unsa may kuan niya of course no mo feel ka sa audience unsa may kuan ha niya of course ang event is something like this so mo open din ko og topic have you heard about blah 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 and blah 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 so kung wide reader ka nakabasa ka about ani niya mo open ka nila og topic nga mo nabasahan before which is connected to the program makasave siya sa imong dead air, no? Makasave siya sa program. At the same time, in the aspect of preparation lang, no? If you're a wide reader, words would just come out easily. Mo ni na notice nako, no, kay back in high school manggod pod, I was in first year when I realized nga kinahanglan jud ko mobasa og daghan, first year high school. And so conscious effort na gyud to ba nga murag dili bitaw siya tungod kinaanad ko pag elementary nga magsikog basa. Actually wa jud ko maanad ana. So mo to, it was in high school already that I challenged myself nga no, you must read a lot, no, bisag unsa, novels, mga pocket books, mga fiction books, something, and I found out nga later in life di ay useful kay tanan siya, because whenever I would MC, the words would just come out easily. No nga, unsa man ganahan akong i-describe ani nga person, unsa man kani nga word o kani nga word akong gamiton kay nabasahan ko ni sa una mo ni ang meaning and so on. So there daghan, yes, definitely Sir Albert, no, dako kayong tabang if you're a wide reader. In MC.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sir Kim. Unya, daghang kay diri og mga thank you notes, no, for Sir Kim.
My pleasure. Thank you po kayo.
Happy kayo gid me with your time. All right, at this point, we'd like to give the certificate to follow lang ang signature, Sir Kim. Sorry.
Why? Problema dyan.
Okay, Brotherhood of Christian Businessmen and Professionals, Talisay Chapter gives the certificate of appreciation to Dr. Kim Francis Rodriguez for his effort and expertise as resource speaker on the topic 101 Essentials of Public Speaking during the chapter formation training held today, November 28th, via Zoom. So we have here our formation director, Mr. Alberto A. Manana Jr., and our chapter head, Mr. Vicente J.R. Chan. A round of applause once again, brothers and sisters, for Sir
Thank
Kim.
you, Kaayo. I'm so happy. No, God answered my prayers. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. So moving on to our program, we move to the second key. So the first key, na-unlock na nato, no, nagamit na nato atong first key, which is